Good afternoon on what is a bright, clear but chilly day. It is Tuesday the 18th of January. I'm back in the Nook with some parcels and a nice hot cup of tea. And yes, I am also with a cat who's not here. Here he comes. He's just had something to eat, haven't you? So we'll settle down in a minute. And I'm going to start with this big box. So, quick slice into that. Okay, so lots of packaging. Yep. So delving deeper and deeper. And what I have got is this. This is the One Ring starter set. This is okay. So this is the starter set for the new second edition from Free League Publishing. And I'm a big fan of the One Ring. I really like the game and the setting. If any game ever evoked the feel of Middle-earth, of the films, and of course of the stories themselves, then it's the One Ring from the One Ring role-playing game, which originally published by Cubicle 7, and neatly slotted, the first edition neatly slotted into the periods between the events of The Hobbit and the Battle of the Five Armies. It begins 5 years after the Battles of the Five Armies, and then its stories take place sort of like going onwards, sort of like over the course of the few years through the 70 years or so before the events of the Lord of the Rings begin. And Cubicle 7 supported the game with a lot of supplements, which looked at the different areas, the 4 different areas of really Middle-earth. So we looked at the Mirkwood and surrounds, and then Eriador on the opposite side of the Misty Mountains, and it supported each book with a set of scenarios and the like. And in fact, the one great thing I really love about the One Ring is, get your paws off there, you're not standing on that, is that the Darkening of Mirkwood is the nearest thing to a Lovecraftian fantasy campaign you're going to get. It really has a really dark Lovecraftian feel to it, with the power of the shadow, it basically returning with the appearance of the Necromancer out of Dol Guldur, I believe. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Anyway, so that's enough rambling. Let's have a look at the One Ring starter set. Whilst I fuss the cat, a strange invitation from Cousin Bilbo mentioning that he's in need of help. Most odd, but then again, a great many things about that particular hobbit have been odd ever since that business with the dragon. Nothing wrong with taking a stroll and helping old Bilbo out, I suppose. After all, there aren't any dangers to worry about here in the Shire. The One Ring starter set contains all you need to take your first step into Middle-earth and experience the adventures hobbits get up to. With streamlined rules and ready-to-go characters, it's easy to quickly sit down and start and play the game. The One Ring is set between the time Bilbo went on his journey and the events in Lord of the Rings, allowing you to explore the Shire by taking on the roles of some hobbits whose children will go on to do extraordinary things, such as Drogo Baggins, Rory Brunderbuck, and Esmeralda Twick. This box set contains a 24-page volume of condensed rules, a 52-page compendium covering the 4 farthings of the Shire, all the way from Greenholm in the west to Buckland and the Old Forest in the east. A 32-page volume containing 5 exciting adventures to play, 8 double-sided pre-generated character sheets, excuse me, a huge full-colour double-sided map showing the Shire and Eriador, 30 war gear cards for weapons and armour, and 2 double-sided journey roll and combat stance cards, 2 12-sided feat dice, 6 6-sided success dice. So quite plain on the back, but it tells you what you've got in there. Okay, sets everything up. So let's have a look inside. Pull out the knife, mind the cat. almost there. Just not want to. Why I have so much difficulty with things wrapped in plastic, I don't know. So here we go. Starter set, and then we pull it open, slide off the box, and inside we can see the following. And I'll get to those in a bit. The first thing I noticed is a nice sturdy box, and inside you have the equivalent of a GM screen or table, reference table for your referee. Very useful, nice touch. Something I've seen before in the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition starter set, which is also very good. But what else have we got in here? Well, here is the equipment guide. So you've got a picture on the front of the dagger, and on the back you've got elements like the description of the Great Shield and the dice. So you've got the standard success dice, and if you have a look at the 6, there we go, marked with a Tengwar rune, and you have on here you've got the 12 feet dice has got the see if I can show you that properly. There we go. You've got the Gandalf rune there, and on the opposite side you have the Eye of Sauron. You don't want to roll that. And yes, this die does have an 11. Okay, so technically it's got 13 sides, because it should actually go from 1 to 10 and have the 2 runes opposite. And the 2 runes indicate, extreme success or extreme failure. These are the pause out. Don't get in the box, cat. We've got the stance card. Cards here. For that, so that's because obviously in combat you take the stance of whether or not you are in defensive, forward, open, or rearward. And depending on how far, I mean, essentially it's a degree of aggressiveness. It's how aggressive your stance you are taking in battle. And generally, if you're the more aggressive you are, the more damage you'll do, but you'll be easier to hit. And in the reverse, the more defensive you are, all the way back to rearward where you would be for missile weapons. Okay, and then it does the same thing we have for the roles in travel. So you've got Scout, the Guide, the Lookout, and or the Hunter as well. So these 4 roles play a figure in prominently when you're going on a journey. You each have one character take that role to helping ensure the safety of a journey. Games catalogue for Free League, and then we have the poster map, which is nice and sturdy, a nice sturdy paper. Again, my fingers are going. I can't get hold of. There we go. So what we've got on this side is you've got a map of basically Middle Earth. Okay, and on the back, on the other side, we have a map of Shire. Next up, we have character sheets. These are pre-generated character sheets. It's the first of several booklets. These aren't booklets. They are separate. So you can play. So you've got Frodo Baggins, and Esmeralda Took. And also on the back, you've got a bit more information about the characters, some backgrounds and some colour detail, and a bigger picture than the sort of portrait there. lobelia bracegirdle. I absolutely would. I have to submit, sort of, it would be absolutely entertaining to play lobelia bracegirdle. Of all the characters, I mean, I'm drawn to playing Drogo Took or Paladin Took or something like that. But lobelia bracegirdle is such a great character. You know, such a busybody, and you can see it in the artwork there. Who else have we got? Paladin Took. Next, Premium Brandy Buck. So, in effect, what the starter set is even set earlier than the events that you than really the One Ringer set, because these are, you've also got Rory Mac Brunderbuck. These characters, I mean, they're having adventures when they were young, and we don't really get to see them in the stories themselves. But the authors have gone back into the history of the lore, pulled them out, and you know, and let them have adventures before their children do. And then we also have a little bit different, Balin, son of Fundin. So we get to see an earlier version of Balin. And last but not least, the old. So that's big. Old Joker trickster himself, Bilbo Baggins. So yeah, I really like, that's a nice touch. And then we get into the adventures. So Conspiracy of the Red Book. This nice piece of artwork. Nicely depicting a scene similar to the encounter out on the road, which you'll know from the Fellowship of the Ring. Tormented by wolves there rather than one of the 9 riders, and we get into the essentially the introduction and a conspiracy most cracked. And obviously, I think the artwork is the cartography there is new, but it is echoing that of Tolkien himself, which is always a good idea. You know, but if you're going to go back to the master and copy it from him, and this is quite a short adventure, but it gets everyone involved. And then we go on to Expert Treasure Hunters. So you've got a mini campaign here in this box set. And fantastic artwork, and you even get to encounter a stone troll. And I should imagine these are dangerous adventures, not necessarily deadly, I would have thought, because the characters sort of have to survive. But they should be exciting and fun, and of course, if you're going to have fun, you're going to have most excellent fireworks. Okay, so these are quite short, that's fine. Involuntary Postman, another task for the player characters to undertake. And then to Sue the Savage Beast. Said great artwork. There's a picture of a young farmer maggot. Again, nice touch callbacks to the Lord of the Rings and the canon. And then we've got the Gorbaduck, Brandy Buck there, much older hobbit. And there is a battle at the end. I've got a nice piece of artwork. Basically, I mean, with the text itself, with he looked at maps and wondered what lay beyond their edges. Maps made in the Shire showed mostly white spaces beyond its borders. So this page marks the end of your adventures in the Shire for the moment. You can continue by creating your own, using the information contained in the Shire. You can further widen your exploration of Middle-earth with 2nd edition One Ring role-play game. So, you know, here at that point is that sense of wonder that some hobbits possess, not all. And then next we have the rules. The other thing I really like about these books is the look of them. They call back to this covers like the first editions of the Lord of the Rings books, with this symbol on this style of symbol on the front. If you have a look at the first editions published in the 50s, they're very plain, but with just this red symbol on the front, and the elven, the script round the inside. Let's see. So we get to the prologue. An example of play. So, pulling the referee in there automatically with what the game is like. I mean, obviously, it's likely to have a good idea of what it is like, having seen, knowing the source material. Bit of explanation, the explanation about the Shire, introduction for the Lore Master, and then going on to the structure of the game for her explanation. And then it's explaining action resolution, which is really very simple. You roll a number of skill dice, and alongside the feat dice, hoping to roll as high as you can, and getting degrees of success as well. So it doesn't just count for both. Characteristics, explaining what they are. Combat proficiencies and so on. I mean, this won't have the full rules for character creation because it doesn't need to, but it does need an explanation. And here we have Gandalf himself striding into the home of Bilbo Baggins. And it's explaining elements of the game, endurance and hope, valour and wisdom. Valour means you'll get objects or abilities which enable you to be brave, and valour, wisdom, basically means you had to step back and lean more on your wits, that sort of thing. And then we've got a guide to adventuring, and combat, and we've got another shot of presumably Bilbo and Gandalf in Bag End, and then combat explained. And combat actually really comes at the end of the book. It's really just 2-3 pages. They're quite simple, and it's going to happen because you're going to get conflict. But okay, and the last thing I'm going to look at is there's a one lot book, but at the bottom of the other box, nice touch. They've just reproduced the map of the Shire. Lovely touch. I think it's just don't need to do that. Could have kept it plain, but let's do something. And here's the book for the Shire. Now, this book will be the source book for the starter set and the adventures of the player characters you've got there. But there's also going to be until such times as Freely bring out a source book for the Shire. This will be the book which you'll use carrying on. So, I mean, what you could do if you really wanted to, you play through those adventures, and if you want to step out of that, then I would look at something like the Bree source book for the first edition. If there's an adaptation of just adjustments for the rules and so on, you could run those adventures. They're designed for beginning characters, and would easily carry on from here. So what we've got is you've got regarding the Shire, a brief history of the Shire and all its mysteries, because it is sort of like one of those. It's out of the way places. It's on the road, but it's out of the way places. It's a forgotten place, where funny little people live, as far as most people regard. So, but we've got a discussion of the history, and here, we have got the big battle. Trying to remember what the big battle is. It's against a great boar or a took against the goblins. Boar or took charged out across the green fields and straight into the goblin lines. With a single stroke of his mighty club, he knocked the goblin warlord's head right off his shoulders. And the head is said to have sailed straight over the entire enemy army, eventually landing in a rabbit hole. So terrifying was the sight that the invading force fled. That's also the invention of golf, allegedly, and presumably the head flew off in a random direction to some 2d6 feet. So we've got a timeline as well before we get into discussion of the families and culture and the presence of Gandalf the Grey and his importance in the world of the Shire. And then we get the geography. Obviously, the lore master and the players be referring to the map, and this is a book that essentially the players can probably delve into as well. We've got a guide. You know, here's a guide for handling hobbit walks if they're walking the Shire, and the sheriffs do beat the bounds as well, so they've got to keep on things. And here's another map of the Shire. So West Farthing, including Hobbiton, and there's just some of the mysteries that a hobbit out at night might see. Elves abroad, hopefully to spark an interest in the mysteries of the world beyond the borders of the Shire. South Farthing, North Farthing, so on. And finally East Farthing. So you've got lots of information. Then you've got like an encounter of dwarves on the road, because you've got dwarves moving around. At this point, they've only got a new homeland, and then they are traders, and they come visiting. And we've got a table for wandering elves. Nice little touches like that, so you can add in those encounters, and then down at the far end, trying to get across the Brandybuck River, which most hobbits think you're getting to Buckley, you don't want to do, because the water is not for hobbits. So yeah, and also the forest, and yeah, also you've got the House of Tom Bombadil. I know some people will find that ridiculous, but fine. No, it's part of the lore, and you've got him there as well. So, he is part of the Middle-earth, and hobbits may well encounter him. So let's just put that all back into its box. So that's a nicely appointed starter set for the One Ring. Hopefully you'll be able to see that in your store, your friendly local gaming store very soon, and I'll have a review soon as well, because I'm looking forward to digging into that, because as I say, I'm a big fan of the original game, and would love to get back to playing it. In the meantime, thank you once again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, please do click the like button down below, and of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you posting those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings of the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box and a game, which I will unbox and open up and talk about to the best of my ability for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, and occasionally a cat who's not ours. He's not here. Then please do hit that subscribe button. Once again, thank you for watching another unboxing in the Nook, and I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.